This video shows you California Route 190, which traverses the heart of Death Valley National Park. Spanning 22 miles, it runs from Mesquite Flat Sand Dunes to the Furnace Creek Visitor Center. Throughout the video, you may notice some distortion caused by sandstorms, obscuring parts of the screen. Death Valley National Park, once hindered by last year's rain damage, is gradually reopening its many areas to visitors. We talk about Death Valleys while we're looking at the desolate scenery of the California desert.
Let's talk about the climate in Death Valley. Death Valley has a subtropical, hot desert climate, with long, extremely hot summers and short, warm winters and little rainfall. The valley is extremely dry because it lies in the rain shadow of 4 major mountain ranges. Moisture moving inland from the Pacific Ocean must pass eastward over the mountains to reach Death Valley. As air masses are forced upward by each range and fall as rain or snow on the western slopes. When the air masses reach Death Valley, most of the moisture in the air has already been lost, and thus there is little left to fall as precipitation. The extreme heat of Death Valley is attributable to a confluence of geographic and topographic factors. Severe heat and dryness contribute to perpetual drought-like conditions in Death Valley and prevent much cloud formation from passing through the confines of the valley, where precipitation is often in the form of a virga. A virga, also called a dry storm, is an observable streak or shaft of precipitation that evaporates or sublimates before reaching the ground. The depth and shape of Death Valley strongly influence its climate. The valley is a long, narrow basin that descends below sea level and is walled by high, steep mountain ranges. The clear, dry air and sparse plant cover allows sunlight to heat the desert surface. Summer nights provide little relief. Overnight lows may dip just into the 82 to 98 degree range. Moving masses of superheated air blow through the valley, creating extremely high ambient temperatures.
The hottest air temperature ever recorded in Death Valley was 134 degrees Fahrenheit, 56.7 degrees Celsius on July 10, 1913, at Furnace Creek. During the heat wave that peaked with that record, 5 consecutive days reached 129 degrees Fahrenheit, 54 degrees Celsius, or higher. Some modern meteorologists now dispute the accuracy of the 1913 temperature measurement. On June 30, 2013, a verified temperature of 129.2 degrees Fahrenheit, 54.0 degrees Celsius was recorded. The valley's lowest temperature, recorded at Greenland Ranch, now Furnace Creek, on January 2, 1913, was 15 degrees Fahrenheit, 9 degrees Celsius. The highest surface temperature ever recorded in Death Valley was 201.0 degrees Fahrenheit, 93.9 degrees Celsius, on July 15, 1972, at Furnace Creek. That's the highest ground surface temperature ever recorded on Earth. The greatest number of consecutive days with a maximum temperature of at least 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius, was 154 in the summer of 2001. The highest overnight or low temperature recorded in Death Valley is 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius, recorded on July 5, 1918. In 1929, 1953, and 1989, no rain was recorded for the whole year. The average annual precipitation in Death Valley is 2.36 inches, 60 millimeters. The wettest month on record is January 1995, when 2.59 inches, 66 millimeters, fell on Death Valley. The wettest period on record was mid-2004 to mid-2005, in which nearly 6 inches, 150 millimeters, of rain fell in total, leading to ephemeral lakes in the valley and the region and tremendous wildflower blooms. Snow, with accumulation, has only been recorded in January 1922, while scattered flakes have been recorded on other occasions. Several of the larger Death Valley springs derive their water from a regional aquifer, which extends as far east as southern Nevada and Utah. Much of the water in this aquifer has been there for many thousands of years, since the Pleistocene ice ages, when the climate was cooler and wetter. Today's drier climate does not provide enough precipitation to recharge the aquifer at the rate at which water is being withdrawn. The highest range within the park is the Panamint Range, with Telescope Peak being its highest point at 11,049 feet, 3,368 meters. The Death Valley region is a transitional zone in the northernmost part of the Mojave Desert and consists of 5 mountain ranges removed from the Pacific Ocean. 3 of these are significant barriers: the Sierra Nevada, the Argus Range, and the Panamint Range. Air masses tend to lose moisture as they are forced up over mountain ranges in what climatologists call a rainshadow effect. The exaggerated rainshadow effect for the Death Valley area makes it North America's driest spot, receiving about 1.5 inches, 38 millimeters, of rainfall annually at Badwater, and some years fail to register any measurable rainfall. Annual average precipitation varies from 1.92 inches, 49 millimeters, overall below sea level, to over 15 inches, 380 millimeters, in the higher mountains that surround the valley. When rain does arrive, it often does so in intense storms that cause flash floods, which remodel the landscape and sometimes create very shallow ephemeral lakes. The hot, dry climate makes it difficult for soil to form. Mass wasting, the downslope movement of loose rock, is therefore the dominant erosive force in mountainous areas, resulting in skeletonized ranges. Sand dunes in the park, while famous, are not nearly as widespread as their fame or the dryness of the area may suggest. The Mesquite Flat Dune Field is the most easily accessible from the paved road just east of Stovepipe Wells in the north-central part of the valley, and is primarily made of quartz sand. Another dune field is just 10 miles, 16 kilometers, to the north, but is instead mostly composed of travertine sand. The highest dunes in the park, and some of the highest in North America, are located in the Eureka Valley, about 50 miles, 80 kilometers, to the north of Stovepipe Wells, while the Panamint Valley Dunes and the Saline Valley Dunes are located west and northwest of the town, respectively. There are rare exceptions to the dry nature of the area. In 2005, an unusually wet winter created a lake in the Badwater Basin and led to the greatest wildflower season in the park's history. In October 2015, 1,000-year flood event, with over 3 inches of rain, caused major damage in Death Valley National Park. A similar widespread storm in August 2022 damaged pavement and deposited debris on nearly every road, trapping 1,000 residents and visitors overnight. The desolate desert scenery continues. Thank you so much.